any result we achieve is because there is a whole chain of people working behind us. Everything each of you does, from the things that seem most important to those that might appear less important, is actually essential, not for us. It's to provide answers to Italians. You are not at the service of the administration. You are not at the service of the government. You are at the service of the Italian people, just like I am. Every single thing we do each day makes the difference, especially when you have the honor and the responsibility of holding a position like the one each of us holds. We fight all year long. The year we've just had has been tough for all of us, but don't worry, the next one will be much worse. So I advise you to get plenty of rest during these holidays. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming despite the rain. You are truly brave. We haven't been very lucky this year with this initiative. From the point of view of the weather and the climate, however, we wanted to go ahead and confirm it anyway. And by now, we consider it a tradition of this institution. And since institutions also live on traditions, we like the idea of confirming it. And we wanted this moment to be celebrated because this is an important moment for us. Precious. It is a precious moment, especially for me, of course, because it is one of the rare occasions when I can look you in the eyes. Even if with the umbrellas, let's say I can't see those in the back. And well, my height doesn't help either, but I can look all of you in the eyes, including those at the windows, whom I also greet and thank and say thank you, of course. Thank you for your work. Thank you to each of you, starting with the people who work most closely with me every day. My Chief of Staff, Gaetano Caputi, together with the entire Cabinet Office, Fabrizio Saggio, and the Office of the Diplomatic Advisor, Franco Federici, and the Office of the Military Advisor, Francesca Quadri, and the Legislative Office, Fabrizio Alfano, and the Press Office, Filippo Attili, who is probably hanging somewhere trying to take photos from the right angle, all the way to all the social media team members and my secretariat, Patricia Skirti, Paolo Quadrozzi, every single dedicated employee of every single vital department, every diligent manager, every responsible official within an extremely intricate and complex organizational machine. And so above all, obviously, thanks to Carlo Deodato, Secretary General of Palazzo Chigi, the Deputy Secretaries General and all the directors, the entire structure, because it really isn't easy to manage a structure like this. This is an organization and an administration that is unique in its own way. You know this better than I do. It's an administration that must always be able to reinvent itself depending on the government that comes in, depending on the priorities that government sets. The structure doesn't remain static. It is rethought, reinvented, adapted. Extraordinary creativity and extraordinary professionalism are needed to do the kind of work that you do. To work among the officials of the Italian state, especially at Palazzo Chigi. And what I have to tell you is that without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. I want to say this, and I want to remind everyone, not so much you because you already know it. I want to remind the Italian people because we often hear the same people being talked about over and over again. If something goes well, the credit goes to Meloni. Or it's Antonio Tajani, or it's Matteo Salvini, who also sends his regards, but he was voting in the Senate. The budget bill, if you'll allow me, and forgive me for telling him to stay and do his job, in this case as a senator, but we have to remind Italians that any result we achieve is because there is a whole chain of people working behind us. Then what if any instruction we were to give just stopped there? At a certain point in this mechanism, the work of everyone else would have been pointless, useless. And so everything each of you does, from the things that seem most important to those that might appear less important, is actually essential, not for us. It's to provide answers to Italians. You are not at the service of the administration. You are not at the service of the government. You are at the service of the Italian people, just like I am. And of course, so are the entire administration and the institutions. And so we must all always remember, above all, what William James said. Act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. Every single thing we do each day makes the difference, especially when you have the honor and the responsibility of holding a position like the one each of us holds. Then, of course, I want to express some thanks for this wonderful celebration. I want to thank, first of all, of course, all the ministers, the Undersecretary to the Presidency of the Council, Alfredo Mantovano, Giovanni Battista, Fazzolari in particular. I want to thank Minister Lolo Brigida, and along with him, I want to thank the students and teachers from the schools who are here today and who, as they do every year, have set all this up for us. I want to mention them one by one. the Vergani Navarra Institute of Ferrara, the Magnaghi Solari Institute of Salsomaggiore Terme, the Francesco Morano Institute of Caivano, the Domenico Modugno Institute of Polignano, and the Academy of Advanced Training in Sala Intrecci of Castiglione in Teverina. Thanks, of course, to all these students and their teachers for the extraordinary work they have done. Thanks to the Parmigiano Reggiano Consortium and the Sigillo Consortium, who have brought here a wonderful cross-section of our finest achievements. Remember this year when you sit down at the Christmas table that you are handling with care a part of humanity's intangible heritage. And so, a heartfelt thank you as well to the esteemed Grana Padano Consortium for graciously giving us a truly delightful taste of these exceptional excellences. And then I want to express my sincere gratitude, of course, to the extraordinary, the Civil Protection, the National Alpine Association of Belluno, because they transported here the tree that we set up in the courtyard of Palazzo Chigi. I must thank the municipality of Lorenzago di Cadore and the province of Belluno for this Christmas tree. And I must thank the National Choir, the esteemed Alpini of Rome, who truly delighted all of us with their magnificent rendition of the national anthem and a beautiful selection of cherished Christmas carols. And then I must also extend my sincere gratitude to a dedicated employee of the esteemed Presidency of the Council who generously donated to Palazzo Chigi the truly beautiful and heartwarming nativity scene that you can now clearly see displayed in this very courtyard. It is an extraordinary work that obviously depicts the nativity in front of a reproduction of the Chigi Library. Clearly, this is why we are here. As Deputy Prime Minister Tajani said, we are here, of course, to be with our families for a bit of peace, also to seek some serenity, to find a bit of rest. But above all, we are here to celebrate this child who is born, and with him, to celebrate a fundamental part of our identity. That child, that symbol. They taught us most of what we know about respect for others, about caring for the most vulnerable, about love. We must be proud of that identity, and in celebrating Christmas in particular, we can be. I don't want to bore you any further. I want to tell you that besides thanking you for your work, I care about you because by now we are a family, a team. We fight all year long. The year we've just had has been tough for all of us, but don't worry, the next one will be much worse. So I advise you to get plenty of rest during these holidays. Then we'll see each other again in the coming days to keep providing answers to this extraordinary nation, which can still amaze the world. Thank you to you and your families. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.